Against the reward, let's bring in Hatem Dhiab. He's managing partner at Gerber Kawasaki. Hatem, thanks so much for joining us. I mean, the setup for Apple going into the quarter is pretty negative. Those estimates have been consistently coming down.
Absolutely. Good to be on, Amber. The stock is down for the year. I think people are not super excited, and Apple is historically has been very conservative with their guidance. So I think it's a pretty good setup. As you said, there's definitely a lot of news that we're expecting to see, and maybe some color around China and what's going on with handset sales. But ultimately, this company is a massive brand. This is the #1 brand in the world. And I think if they stumbled the last couple of years, they're gonna do well going forward.
But there's no denying the slowdown, right? We are expecting sales to fall. This would now be the 5th decline in the past 6 quarters. How do we get over that?
Yeah, it's a good point. So China has been a big problem for Apple because 20% of their sales are there, and macros in China have been really tough. And obviously, we have a bit of a nationalistic kind of tilt and against American companies. But I think ultimately what you're seeing is improving handset sales across the world in general for both MacBooks and iPhones. So I think that's gonna hopefully dampen the China story a little bit. And then obviously we're going to see services hopefully continue to increase, which is where the margins are. So I think that's also going to help going forward.
It sounds like you're willing to step in here, kind of the worst is over. Is that, the belief that the worst is over, or that we can start to see maybe services take up a bigger portion?
That's actually our base case. Is the next couple of quarters we'll probably see a trough in sales, and we're going to see growth kind of come back. And I think it's going to come back in 2 ways. One is, as you said, services. For example, Apple TV Plus increased prices last quarter. It also has more subscribers. We're going to see, we're all using our iPhones more, so there's a lot more other services being used. So I think that's going to be one catalyst. But then 2, this whole AI thing that hopefully Apple is going to announce is potentially going to create a new upgrade cycle that we haven't seen before, both for the iPhones and the MacBook. And we can talk a little bit more about what that looks like.
I'd love to talk about that, because the question I have is, what is AI going to mean for Apple? Does it create a whole new business line, or is it, as you suggested, it's really just an added layer to, increase the addiction people have to their phones?
No doubt, we're all addicted to our iPhones, but AI is not a buzzword for Apple. I think whenever they announce new things, it's really what kind of value do they add to their products. So what Apple is going to do, I think, is they're going to start with these small models, not like the big models that a lot of the other tech firms doing. But what that does is it's on device. It's allows you to, so I can basically picture a world where all my apps talk to each other, my calendar, my messages, my health apps. So it really organizes my iPhones in a way that we haven't seen on the M4 chip, so on Apple Silicon. So it becomes a lot more efficient. It works really well, and as a result, it creates a brand new upgrade cycle, because now everyone needs to buy new iPhones because it's such a compelling new product, right? And obviously for MacBooks as well. So that's, I think, the story, if it works out, will be tremendous going forward.
Do you want, as an investor, to see details or a breakdown on the Vision Pro, which is their VR headset? I don't know that the expectation is high that this is going to be a big blockbuster for them, but do you want to see those kind of details?
I would love that. I have one at home, and it's been great to have. It's still a phase 1 or Gen 1 product, so we haven't seen a lot of adoption just yet. But I think what you're going to see is, and Apple said this is for professionals, and then we're going to start iterating and figuring out what works and what we can improve upon, so it becomes a mass product, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years. But it's a brand new platform. Spatial computing is here to stay and is going to be big.